This is the AEW Collision February 10, 2024 full show results video which takes place at Dollar Loan Center in Henderson, Nevada. The show started with a match between BCC, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, versus CMLL, Star Jr. and Sphinge, and the result of this match was Blackpool Combat Club defeated CMLL by submission when Moxley puts a bunch of elbows on Star Jr. shortly after. He locks him up. Moxley grabs a mic after the match and he says they should take that message back to CMLL in Mexico or anywhere else in the world they want. If they want to step up, then they'll get stepped on. FTR's music hits the speakers and they get in the ring and have a stare down while fans chant, FTR. Moxley pushes Dax Harwood's face and it kicks off a pull-apart brawl with a bunch of officials rushing down to break it up, and then wrestlers from the locker room joining in to do the same. The next match happened between Daniel Garcia versus Shane Taylor, and the result of this match was Daniel Garcia defeated Shane Taylor by submission when Garcia managed to go back to the knee and kept attacking it. He threw on a leg lock and that was enough to get the tap. Eddie Kingston was interviewed and he says what the Young Bucks did on Dynamite was disgusting and how dare they steal his thunder. He also says Bryan Danielson did the same and he wants to challenge him to a match at Revolution, but he also wants to add the stipulation that if he wins, Bryan has to shake his hand and say he respects him, which he knows he'll hate. Then we saw a 2-on-1 handicap match between Brian Cage versus the Outrunners, and the result of this match was Brian Cage defeated the Outrunners by pinfall very easily. After, Brian Cage attacked Chance the mascot and eventually Hook showed up to get a fight going, and they battled in the backstage area. Lexi interviewing the Kingdom and Ishii and they're mad at Ishii and make it known to him. Roderick Strong says all that matters is if he wins tonight then he'll be breaking him at Revolution and winning the international title for himself. He's been waiting 8 long years for it. Adam Copeland is out to be interviewed in the ring by Toni Schiavone, and before he can even get the first question, the fans chant his name. Then he says he's warning the Young Bucks for what they did to Sting and Darby Allin. Meanwhile, he tries to sort out what title to challenge for and he really wants to challenge Eddie Kingston for one of his dozens of championships and it's eventually going to happen, don't worry, but there's Christian Cage and the TNT championship that he won and had ripped out of his hands. I think you know where I'm leaning, and then Daniel Garcia's music hits, and enters into the ring, and says it sounds like Copeland thinks he deserves a title shot due to a bunch of wins. He agrees that that's how it should be, but he's not the only one who has been picking up a lot of wins lately. Garcia has been picking up a lot himself, and he saw that title on Cage's shoulder and thought maybe he deserves a shot at it, but then again maybe Garcia will pull the classic Garcia thing and lose the big one, lose all his momentum, and get sent to the back of the line again. But even if he does, he'll fight back to the front a million times if it means he gets to hold gold in AEW. And Copeland says the FTR boys speak highly of him, so he respects Garcia, but if he's saying he wants a shot at the TNT title, something has got to give. So Copeland has a proposal. They have a match on Dynamite and the last man standing fights Christian and Garcia quickly accepts, they shake on it, and business is done. Except Copeland doesn't let his hand go, saying he knows he had a match tonight and that's the only reason he's not taking his head off right now. But make no mistake, what Garcia is doing now is threatening to take food off his family's table, so he's going to beat Garcia's ass next week. Renee interviewed Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale, saying the addition of Stokely Hathaway has actually been working out well for them and he compares them to Full House and gets a pop for it. He says he only knows 2 badasses in the AEW women's division and it's these 2 ladies, and Statlander wonders why Sky and Julia keep coming back. You're so hung up on your past, baby, we can be your future. Willow says they've done everything except for the fight and Chris asks Stokely to make it official and he makes a joke that Tony Khan has him blocked, so he'll need one of their phones. The next match happened between Brody King versus Mark Briscoe, and the result of this match was Brody King defeated Mark Briscoe by pinfall after hitting the Gonzo Bomb finishing move. While the referee was checking on Briscoe, King pushed him off and held Mark up so hard could blast him in the head with a spike. The heels celebrated by grabbing Briscoe's face and holding him up to rub his blood all over King's forearm. The house always wins, King tells the camera. The bounty hunter Brian Keith is all about his payday and he says he's looking for the big matches, all the stars, and more importantly he's looking to climb the ranks and collect his bounty. Whether you're good, bad, or ugly, if you're standing across the ring from him, you better be ready to pay up, sucker. The next match happened between Deonna Purrazzo versus Kiera Hogan, and the result of this match was Deonna Purrazzo defeated Kiera Hogan by submission with the double armbar. Before Perazzo could even get to the back, Toni Storm was making her way out, working the hell out of the gimmick the whole way. The next match happened between Toni Storm versus Queen Aminata, and the result of this match was Toni Storm defeated Queen Aminata by pinfall with the short piledriver. Storm gets a microphone and she tells Schiavone that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but they're in Henderson, so stop looking at her like that. She lays down and talks about her fantastic display of technical brilliance, and she announces that this week on Dynamite she will be releasing a brand new film. She tells Deonna to remember one thing: she can try all her fancy maneuvers all she wants, but not being a wart on her butthole will haunt her for the rest of her life. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Orange Cassidy versus Tomohiro Ishii for the AEW International Championship, and the result of this match was Orange Cassidy defeated Tomohiro Ishii by pinfall to retain the AEW International Championship. After, the Kingdom hit the ring to attack, Ishii, who had made it all the way up the ramp, ran back down to the ring to run off Kingdom. Trent Beretta joined him with a chair to keep Cassidy safe, and the show goes off the air.